Kia ora everyone, welcome to one of the first mental health awareness free webinars that we're organising this week. My name is Natalie and I'm from Grow, and we're absolutely thrilled with the amount of people that have registered and signed up for these free webinars, and we're absolutely honoured to have Tipene kick off with the first one. I'll keep it brief because we've got 40 minutes, but I'll hand over to Tipene now. Oh, sorry, before we start, one more thing. We will be recording the session, so if you do not want to be recorded on it, then make sure that you mute your video, but you are welcome to obviously leave it on. But welcome everyone. Tipene.
Kia ora, well, ngā mihi nui ki o koutou pai o koutou tai mai ki tēnei zui. Ai ki te whakaki o koutou ki te mātauranga, I roto I te mātauranga o tō tātou tūpuna, I roto I ngā Pūrakau, ko tētahi Pūrakau I te ata nei te noho tatapu. Ai me hoki ki te miri a tātou wairua hene ngaro me oranga katoa I te reo me hoki I te mātauranga Maori, no reira ngā mihi nui e kao koutou. So just a big welcome to you all for coming along. It's to Mental Health Awareness Week, and mihi atu ki a koe, Natalie, me hoki ki a Sean, koutou ngā tangata ki raro o te koro ai o Grow, ngā mihi nui ki a koutou pai o koutou mahi aroha, mahi maha, ki te whakaritenga tō tata nei zui. So just a big ups to you guys at Grove for putting this on too. You know, it's and I'm really wrapped to see the response people have had. So I know your time was precious, like 3 or 40 minutes, so this is just a bit of a taster. And for those of you who are familiar with Mahia Atua and Mark and Dai Kopo's work, then this will be a pūrako that's familiar to you. For those that don't, it'll be an introduction into the way that Maori organise knowledge and the way that we pass knowledge down with all the different levels of learnings and teachings that we've had in our narratives of origin. So, nō reira, ai māku te karakia hei tū whiritea tō tātou nei wānanga I te ata nei. Nō reira, tēnei te arawarangi nui a tūake nei, tēnei te arawa papatūniku e tākoto nei. Kia raro o ngā tapo ao tāne, ki raro tēnei te pō nau mai te ao karanga te ao e piri, karanga e tāne piri, e tata whakamaua ki a teina humi e hui e tāe ki e. So folks, what I'd like you guys to do, because you're going to be popped into little breakout rooms in a minute, is the best way I thought to sort of demonstrate Pūrakau was to take you through the process, take you through a story. So what I'd like you to do is just for a couple of seconds, just think about an issue in your life that you feel comfortable to share with, that's that you're in the process of changing, you're in two minds about, or you've started and the commitment to that change has wavered a bit, and just take a couple of minutes to think of change that you're making that's important to you. And then once you've done that, I'm going to narrate this pūrako, and then I'll get you guys to at the end of the narration, if you want to take a photo of the, I've got a little animated PowerPoint screen that I'm going to use alongside telling this pūrako. Then you can take a photo of that for once you're in the breakout rooms. It'll give you a point of reference to have a kōrero too when it comes to the exercise that I've got. So if everyone's got something that they're in two minds now, the change that they're making, I'm just going to share my screen. Excuse me. And once upon a time, let me tell you a story. So this pūrako is from Te Aitanga, Hawiti, which is sort of around the East Coast, Tolaga Bay area. And I had the privilege of having this narrated to me by Mark Kupua at a workshop that I attended with Mahia Atua. So this Pūrakau goes and just wants you to hold this change that you're making in your mind.
I'm only seeing a black screen, Tipene, sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, catch by, because it's an animated one. So I'm going to keep, I'll press and animations will pop up. Ka pai lau, pai tērā, just in case people were worried they were supposed to see something. So this goes right back to the time of Rangi Nui and Papa Tuanuku. And Rangi and Papa made a commitment to each other that they would be together forever. And in that bond of love that they held together, they had many, many children. And as more children were born into the space between them, as a result of their love for each other, the space started to get more and more cramped and confined as more children were born over the many eons, until one day a little character by the name of Kekerewai, kere means to stir, Kekerewai sort of pops his head up and he just is feeling like things are just a bit too, things need to change. He was like, I'm sick and tired of being so squashed up against my brothers here. Some seem to have lots of room. I don't feel like I've got much. And for the very first time in the space between Rangi and Papa, the vibration of things need to change started to vibrate through all these children. However, Kekerewai, you know, he wanted to check his own perception out and turns to his brother Toro Waho, and Toro was to stretch. And he says, bro, you know, is this just all in my head, or is it really cramped in here? And Toro Waho sort of says, you know, brother, it is really cramped in here, man. I think, you know, it's time for us to stretch out a little bit. And yeah, you're right, man, things need to change. So this vibration started to emanate through all the children of Rangi and Papa, and there were many of them. And it reached a little character by the name of Uipoto. And he pops his head up and he sort of relates to this vibration. And as he pops his head up, he sees a little light, a little pulsing glow way over in the distance. And he has no idea what it is, but he's really enamored with this little pulsing light. So he turns to his neighbor next to him, who sees this Hinatori, this little light, and turns to his neighbor next to him called Mamaru and says, brother, can you see that tiny little light way over there, that little pulsing light? And Mamaru says, yeah, Baba, that's called a Hinatori. And when Mamaru was speaking, one of their brothers by the name of Pekitua was overheard them, and he said, you know, that's the light of the moko huruhuru, that's the light of the glowworm. And all three of these children were really enamored with this tiny little pulsing light. It was the only point of difference in all the darkness that existed between their parents, Rangi and Papa. So the three of them decided, you know, we're going to take a little journey and see what that, let's take a little journey to that Hinatori, to that pulsing light. So they start to make some movements toward this Hinatori. And then one of the older siblings by the name of Fero pops his head up, and Fero, you know, he likes to control the show of Fero. And he was one of the older siblings. He's got plenty of room where he is. And he says to Uipoto, he said, Uipoto, if you take another step, I will curse you. And Uipoto pays no attention whatsoever to his elder sibling, Fero, and just keeps on track and marching towards this Hinatori. And of course, this frustrates his older brother somewhat, who curses him. And as a result of this curse, Uipoto gets goosebumps. And you know, when you get goosebumps when things are afoot, and those wairua unseen realms, and those hairs stand up on the back of your head, and goosebumps were what he manifested from this curse of Whiro. However, he didn't stop moving towards this Hinatori. And Whiro going, well, look, if I can't control Uepoto, I'm going to turn my attention to this Mamaru character. And so he reaches out and he grabs Mamaru's hair and tries to pull him back. But Mamaru, once again, being really focused on this Hinatori, doesn't really pay too much attention to his brother either. And as a result, he loses his hair. However, he maintains his focus on with his companions and walking towards this Hinatori. Of course, this is starting to infuriate his older brother, who expects his younger siblings, to just do what he says. Thank you very much. And so he decides to pull out his meri, his putu, and take a swing at Peketua. And Peke means to jump. And Peketua jumps out of the way and turns himself into a centipede, so he can't be hit with this putu. And however, once again, with his focus on this Hinatori and with the companionship of Uepoto and Mamaru, continues his journey towards this Hinatori. And all the while this is happening, Whiro was getting more and more annoyed. If I can't control these siblings, then maybe I need to turn my attention to this Hinatori. How can I extinguish that little light there? And all the while this is happening, one of the younger siblings by the name of Tane, Tane's a bit of an observer. He's a watcher. He is a real problem solver. He's has a real ability to also be a bit of a team player as well. And so he's sort of watching what's unfolding and says to his older brother, Whiro, bro, there's only one way you can extinguish that light. And that is to flood the space between our parents with light. And this is the Pūrakau of the whakapapa of tapu te noa. So the name of this Pūrakau is called Te Noho Tatapu, which is the close confinements of the atua, or it's also known as Te Tapuonga Atua, the confinement of the elemental energies of Rangi and Papa. And tapu is being a state of constriction and a state of confinement, moving to a place of noa. And often when you, in Maori, if you're introducing yourself, you'll say, noa he koe, where are you from? So noa means from. There's an old kupu tawhito, a very old word for the word light. So freedom from confinement and constriction will come from the light. And this was the very first Pūrakau, at the very first, and the winning argument of Tane that would eventually begin the separation of Rangi and Papa to allow the light in. This is the Pūrakau before that happens. So what I'd like you guys to do is to take a shot of that screen there. Take a screenshot. And I'm going to change the screen just in a sec. And you're going to, and I see some of you are going to put you into pairs, and I see some of you are also in, there might be more than one person in the room watching this. So if you get into pairs, if in whatever space you're in, and there's going to be a speaker and a listener. And the speaker is going to talk about the dilemma that they have been thinking about, this sort of change they want to make. And you're going to, and yeah, you're just going to describe your dilemma, and there's going to be a list of questions that are on the next slide that you're just going to answer. And I think if everyone's taken a photo by now, I'm going to move to the next slide. And there we go. So there's a list of 5 questions there, and just take your time and answer however many you can. There's no real rush for this. And the listener is, you're going to be able to give your undivided attention, and you're there to listen, to understand, not to solve or give any advice. Just to listen.
We cannot see the entire screen. It is blocked out at the top and on the left-hand side.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll just take it off this. It's good to know. Let me just end the show, and it should reduce. How's that?
Yes.
Is that better?
Much better. Yeah, that is much
cool.
better. Yeah.
Cool. There you go, folks. It's better for me too. Actually, I can see it all. So I hope that's clear. The speaker to describe your dilemma, and the listener to listen without giving advice or trying to solve the problem, just to listen, to understand. So you're going to have, and you're going to, the speaker will have, say, 10 minutes to do that, and then Natalie will sort of give you a bit of a prompt, getting close to 10 minutes, and you're going to swap over.
Can you quickly show the first slide again in this format?
Oh, yep. Yep, sure. Oh, here we are. There we go. How's that?
That's it. Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh. So if people want to take a photo of that, that'll give you a little clue as to the different atua, the different elemental energies, or for Maori, these were just aspects of ourselves that we put into Pūrakau form, because it was our way of organising information. It's Maori psychology, basically, of who we are and how we relate to ourselves, each other, those elements within us, and to the environment around us. So a good way of seeing these atua or elemental energies is sort of like those archetypal representations of ourselves that for Maori we whakapapa too. These are part of our ancestry. So has everyone got everyone's had enough time? I'll move to the, do you think it's enough time, Nat?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, I'll just move to that next screen again. And there we go.
Screen button.
And if people want to take a photo of this one too, because once you're in the breakout rooms, folks, you won't be able to see these questions. So take a couple of minutes, take a photo. Breathe. And then after we've had, say, 10 minutes each way to just kōrero to your issue and see how this pūrakau relates to the issue that you have, and the answers being, what's your hinatori? Which atua did you most relate to? What's the strengths of that? Which atua would be most helpful to you in making the change that you're considering? And lastly, if you were to take a step in the right direction or in the direction of your hinatori, what would it look like? Hinatori could be whatever goal or wawata, that aspiration that you might have. All right, folks, I think I'll leave it up to you, Nat, to pop everyone in rooms. And so 10 minutes each way, and I'll see you all in about 20 minutes.
Okay, the rooms are open now. So you'll see a screen popping up on your screen, and you can just accept that invitation and go into a breakout room. And we'll send you a message after 10 minutes that you can swap over, and then we'll see you back here again.
Is that you, Nat, inviting me to breakout room 17, is it?
Yes, you probably are invited to. So you can just ignore that invitation.
Oh, okay. Kapai.
Because it does it automatically, so.
Of course, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so this is an exercise you can do also on your own.
Again.
Okay, cool. So everyone's back. Awesome. So I know we haven't got lots of time to sort of unpack and debrief this, folks, but if anyone's curious, anyone's got any thoughts or about what stood out from either the speaker or the listener perspective, you want to unmute yourselves and give a quick kōrero, that'd be awesome. We've probably got about, what, maybe 5 minutes now. Oh. So I'm opening the floor. Whakatuwhera, te papa.
Someone's asking, how does Pūrakau translate into English, please?
Oh, okay. It's Pūrakau. So we carved our narratives of origins into rākau. So the way that Mark described it was the sound of the story of the tree, of the rākau. And when you talk about pepeha, each tree has a peha, has a bark that identifies it as a unique, as having its own unique identity. And so as each rākau also has its own unique way of being carved in its own unique presence, the sound of the story of that tree is manifested when the carver starts to carve our stories into it. So the words that are used was the sound of the story of the rākau. Was what Pūrakau meant. Pū can mean a few things. It can mean the origin of something. It can also mean the sound. So it has both.
Is that sorry? Is that poster available so it can actually be used with clients to help guide clients through that process? That was actually a really valuable exercise.
Yeah. Look, when we did this, when I did this with Mahia Atua, they usually have two people working with someone and they have an artist who draws at the same time the story is being narrated. I just made a PowerPoint presentation out of it, but used the idea of using a visual really helps. Yeah, I can certainly make that available, and I will forward that to Natalie, to whoever wants it.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Any other thoughts, folks?
Kia ora whānau. I'm from Lower Hutt. I work at Rimutaka Arahata prisons as an HCC counsellor, and it's really helpful to have this deeper understanding of the creation story, and I'm looking forward to using it with Maori men and women. Ketapai, thank you very much.
Oh, tēnā koe, Frank. Korua kua mahi. Ai.
Kia ora, Tipene. One thing that really stood out for me when we go through change or we're making choices, I am a big firm believer in trusting a process, and what will be will be. However, when I went through this exercise, it kind of made me relate to my whakapapa, and that my ancestors would be helping, guiding me in the decisions that I make. So it really brought it back to the fact that sometimes when you're going through change, that you're not on your own.
Spot on, Andrew.
Kia ora.
Pai tō kōrero. It's and nice that you bring the unseen, our ancestors, that wairua realm into this conversation, because it's all about that. Kia ora.
Tipene, I really appreciated how you asked us to relate to the strengths of each of those characters that you taught us about. And I think that's a wonderful way for the people I work with to be able to think beyond where they're stuck into the support that's there that they hadn't connected with. So thank you very much.
No, kia ora, Alice. It's a nice way of, I think narrative call it externalizing. You know, you can see yourself better through a story sometimes or more clearly. So yeah, thank you for that. Kia ora.
Kia ora Tipene. I just want to give a bit of a mihi to you. Give a mihi to you whāna ki tēnei wānanga. So you've just really confirmed a lot of good things that I've kind of already innately held in terms of how that looks like internally, and then bringing that out in an external platform to help whānau people tangata navigate through different situations that they face in their lives. And in fact, zooming in back into the stories and our kōrero to bring a sense of, oh, they've had the solutions and the remedies before, and continue to uphold those remedies. And so based on just that alone, it's been really awesomely empowering. Ka whakamana ngā whānau me ngā tangata, me ngā kaimahi, I te mahi nei ki te whakaora hinengaro, tinana, wairua, me tā rātou whānau. Nō reira, kei te mihi ki a koe.
Tēnā koe, Desiree. Pai o whakaro ki te... Ai, ki te mana me te tapu o te mātauranga tō tātou tūpuna ki te whakawātia te huarahi. So for those, so it's just the sort of mana, the influence that these vibrations and our narratives had to help people clear their pathways. Ai tērā.
Oh, kia ora. Can you hear me?
Ariki, ai, kia ora.
Yeah. Thelma Reti here. I work for Pūrakau Charitable Trust. Yeah, I found this exercise really interesting. I just thought that it helps to start a conversation, to engage. I was thinking about, you know, when you're speaking with your clients about how do you start a conversation, because they're coming from all different types of problems or whatever. And that, but I found it interesting for me because it helped me to talk about my hinatore.
Tēnā koe.
Yeah.
Kia ora.
Yeah, it helps to start the conversation. That's what I
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's uncomfortable when you're two people who don't know each other.
It's right. Aye.
Type of model.
Absolutely. Kia ora. I found it very useful for that, just saying, hey, look, I've listening to your dilemma. I've got a little Pūrakau, little story I'd like to say, and just see what you make of it. Is a beautiful way of engaging and deepening that trust.
Hi, hello.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. I'm Yuan Yuan. Thank you for today. And I feel that I agree with that the previous lady said, the communication from the conversation. Communication is always a key to build a trustful relationship with anyone. So if you are open and be able to communicate well with someone will be able to understand. So this way we can kind of offer help or support to meet that person's needs. And also I think another thing is that being respectful to different cultures, especially like Maori culture is very special in New Zealand. So being respectful to the culture is really critical. And I don't really know much about the Maori culture, to be honest. That's why I'm here. However, from what I know, I think after I mentioned about being respectful, you need to be able to kind of use your good listening ears to listen to them. Yeah. And then listen to their words and understand and respect their beliefs, their culture, their tradition. So if this trustful relationship is built, everything will be easier to deal with.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
Kia ora. How do you pronounce your name?
Yuan Yuan.
Yuan Yuan. Oh,
Yes.
tēnā koe.
Yeah, tēnā koe.
Pai o, I really like you embody cultural humility. Pai tēnā. Kia ora. Aho kua kei hea he whānau kotahi, he kōrero ia Rose Petty. So we're all one whānau in this world, she would say, if we treated each other like brothers and sisters.
Yes.
The different outcomes in this world. So pai tēnā.
Yeah, I do love this Maori's kind of the whānau really support each other. I really love this culture. This is my culture as well, as a Chinese person. Yeah, so when I see Maori people support each other like this, very closely to each other, I feel, oh, that's very close to my culture. I really love it. Yeah. Thank you.
So you're one of the family.
One of the family. Thank you.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Natalie, what's your kōrero around time? I mean, I can go for hours if I want. I'm happy to do that, but I know that.
Yes. So we are getting very close to signing off. We had set aside 40 minutes for this webinar, and obviously we can talk for quite a long time. It's a very interesting topic, and we're really pleased that so many people have logged in and joined us here today, but it is only 40 minutes. If you do want to learn some more, we are hosting a 4-morning workshop with Tipene. All the information is on our website. I'll send you a follow-up email either today or tomorrow morning where you can find the recording of this session so you can listen to it again. And yeah, also if you want some other information, feel free to get in contact. From us here, I'm in Taranaki. Grow is mainly based in Hawke's Bay, but we've also got someone in Auckland, and we've got lots of people from around the country today. Tipene is actually in Poland today, so he's going to have a good night's sleep, hopefully. Yes. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And Tipene, would you like to close?
Sure. So ngā mihi nui ki o koutou I roto I ngā kupu o te whakataua ki he manu I kai ani te miro nō nā te ngāhere, he manu I kai ani te mātauranga nō nā te ao. So the bird that eats of the middleberry, theirs is the forest, and the bird that eats of knowledge, theirs is the world. So pai o koutou manu o ngā manu o te ngāhere, pai o koutou wā, o koutou aro, o koutou mana, ai tēnei te mihi mahana ki o koutou nō reira tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, kia ora mai tātou, and I'll finish this off with a karakia, which is one that Marta tu pauhi, hiri pau rā, rama te ahu I roto, mārama I roto, tēnā te pau ko te pau ko eke, nā te pau e nei kōrero ka māti ariki, ka māti tauira, ka puta ki te whai au ki te ao mārama, hui te ora, hui te mārama, whakamaua ki a tīna, humi e hui e, tāeke. Have a most wonderful day. Kia pai o koutou nei rā, I roto I te whenua Aotearoa. And I'm off to bed now.
Thank you.
You're in Poland. I think you better go to Maori.